Revealed. How a poor boy's amazing wisdom helped a billionaire's daughter transform her life. In a small Midwestern town where dreams often got choked by the dust of unfulfilled ambition, a 12-year-old boy named Charlie carried within him the heart and soul of a hero. Raised by his grandmother, her stories of triumph washed over him like rain on parched earth, filling him with hope and resilience. Outside, the sun gleamed down on his modest neighborhood, but Charlie's smile shone brighter. Every day was a lesson in grit, where the reality of his family's struggles only fueled his determination. Then there was Sarah. The 16-year-old girl lived in a sprawling mansion where glittering chandeliers hung heavy above her, a stark contrast to the humble homes that dotted Charlie streets. Beneath the weight of designer dresses and lavish parties, Sarah felt suffocated, her laughter a rehearsed echo in a world ruled by her father's iron grip. The expectations pressed down on her like a lead weight, silencing the vibrant dreams flickering in her heart. One fateful day, as part of a community outreach program, Charlie's school was paired with Sarah's prestigious organization. When they crossed paths, a moment transformed everything. Charlie's genuine smile reached out to Sarah, breaking through her polished facade. It was like stepping into fresh air after being trapped in a stuffy room. Hesitant, she approached him, drawn by a magnetic force she didn't fully understand. "Hey, my name's Charlie," he said, his eyes sparkling with warmth. In an instant, Sarah felt a feeling she rarely experienced: authentic joy. Instead of the canned conversations she was used to, Charlie shared his grandmother's stories, tales of hard work and unyielding spirit. They were rivers of wisdom rich with authenticity. As they spent more time together, Sarah revealed her struggles, her heart exposed like a blossom unfurling in the spring sun. She confessed that sometimes she wished her world was simpler, filled with the laughter of friends rather than the clink of glasses at high society gatherings. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. As their bond blossomed, Charlie's stories fueled a desire within Sarah she never knew she had. She felt alive, ignited by his passion for life. But danger lurked like a shadow just out of view. When Sarah's father discovered their friendship, his disappointment morphed into outrage, branding Charlie as nothing more than a lesser. The storm brewed inside Sarah, and in a moment of deep reflection, she found herself torn between loyalty to her father and the genuine connection she forged with Charlie. How could she reject the sincerity of someone who had opened her eyes to her own truth? Meanwhile, Charlie grappled with fears of inadequacy, plagued by questions of whether their friendship could survive the onslaught of class divides. Then came the hardest blow of all. A personal tragedy struck Charlie, the weight almost too much to bear. Watching her friends suffer, Sarah felt a new surge of anguish surge within her. The contrasting worlds they belonged to felt like a chasm widening between them. That night, with tears in her eyes, Sarah recognized that she needed to fight for Charlie, not just for her own happiness, but for the value of their friendship. In a moment of reckoning, she stood before her father. "You don't understand him. He taught me what it means to truly live. I won't let you decide my worth," she shouted with newfound fire. The kitchen went silent, tension crackling like static electricity. Would she take a stand against her father's rigid expectations? Or would she let Charlie slip through her fingers, lost in the tangle of privilege and family loyalty. The air in the kitchen hung thick and heavy as Sarah's father's eyes narrowed. She could see the flicker of disbelief and anger reflecting in the glassy surfaces of the family portraits that lined the walls. Every picture told a story of status, power, and control, everything she felt she was fighting against in that moment. "A lesson in living?" he scoffed. "What could a boy like him possibly teach you? He comes from nothing. You owe it to this family to be better than that." His words landed like a physical blow, stirring a mix of rage and sorrow inside Sarah. She took a breath, steadying herself. She wasn't just fighting for Charlie. She was battling for her own sense of identity, her own freedom. "Dad, you don't get it. It's not about money or status. Charlie sees me. He sees me for who I really am, not who you want me to be." Her heart raced as she spoke, her voice trembling just slightly. This was the moment she had been building up to, but now it was here, the colossal weight of family loyalty crashing into the possibility of her own happiness. She felt caught between two worlds, one that cradled her tightly in expectations, and another that lay beyond the horizon, uncertain but promising. "Enough!" her father's voice thundered, shaking the very foundations of her resolve. "You will not disrespect this family by associating with someone unworthy. Do you understand?" "Unworthy?" Sarah shouted back, anger coursing through her. "What's unworthy is denying someone a chance because of where they come from. You taught me to stand up for what's right. This is right." Her father's face twisted, and for a brief moment she saw uncertainty flash through his eyes, a crack in the facade. But it hardened quickly, his expression shifting back to icy authority. "I will not allow this nonsense. You will stay away from that boy." Her heart sank. The dam she had built against his control was beginning to crumble. But deep within her, a fire ignited. "I will not let you control my life anymore." The words burst from her with an intensity she didn't know she had. "If what I feel for Charlie is wrong, then I don't want to be right. You can't dictate my happiness." She turned on her heel and stormed out, leaving her father's furious cries behind her. She felt a rush of adrenaline, mixed with fear, and the kind of exhilaration that comes from taking a leap of faith. Searching for the warmth of Charlie's friendship felt like the only thing that could ground her now. As she rushed down the tree-lined streets that separated their worlds, her heart beat wild with hope. When she neared the park where they often met, she spotted him sitting on a worn bench, staring off into the distance, lost in thought. His shoulders seemed to sag under an invisible burden. She felt pain squeeze her chest. The thought of him in distress clawed at her. "Charlie!" she cried, skipping toward him. As he turned, his weary eyes met hers, and she saw something in him that mirrored her own turmoil. "Sarah! Sarah!" He sounded breathless, almost as if he couldn't believe she was there. "I had to find you," she said, her voice trembling with urgency. "I can't let what my father said control me anymore. You're worth so much more than he thinks. You've shown me what real life is about, and I need you to know that." But before Charlie could respond, a tension-filled silence enveloped them. There was that look of doubt creeping back into his expression, the fear of rejection and inadequacy. "Sarah, what if he's right?" he whispered. His words hung heavy in the air. The two worlds, his and hers, felt even further apart, the illusory dream of unity slipping through their fingers. What was she truly risking by standing up for him? In that heartbeat, she realized their connection was more than teenage rebellion. It was a lifeline they both desperately needed. But would it hold against the currents of their separate lives? "Charlie, please." Just then, the sudden burst of laughter from a group of children broke their tension. Charlie looked away, as if waking from a daydream.
"Will you fight alongside me?" she asked, a silent question forming in the depths of her heart. But would he? And just as hope flickered at the edge of despair, they both stood at the crossroads of fate, uncertain of where their paths would lead. What would happen next when the walls began to close in around them? The wind rustled the nearby trees, and Sarah felt it whip around her, playing tricks on her senses, as if the world itself was beckoning for an answer.
The laughter of children continued to echo in the background, sharp and innocent, a stark contrast to the storm brewing within her. "Charlie, look at me," she urged, her voice steadying, though her heart thudded in her chest. She stepped closer, bridging the distance that seemed to widen with every passing second. "I'm not afraid of what my dad thinks. I refuse to let anyone dictate who I am." He looked up at her, and for the first time she saw a spark of something. Hope? Defiance? "But what if it's too hard?" he asked, his voice a whisper, barely cutting through the crisp autumn air. "What if standing up means losing everything?" "Maybe we'll lose something, but isn't it worth it?" Her plea hung between them, raw and vulnerable. "We can create something new, together, just like you taught me. Life isn't just about what others think, it's about who we choose to be." Charlie's eyes clouded with uncertainty, but Sarah saw a flicker of resolve lurking beneath that doubt. She reached for his hand, their fingers brushing softly, igniting a warmth that spread through her. "Trust me, Charlie. Let's trust each other. We'll figure it out, step by step." He took a deep breath, glancing away to the ground, the leaves crunching beneath his weight. A light breeze carried the scent of fresh grass mixed with the burnt caramel of popcorn being sold nearby. "I don't want to pull you down," he admitted, his voice heavy. "It feels like you're pulling me up," she countered, her eyes boring into him. "You opened my eyes. You showed me that real happiness isn't based on wealth or prestige. It's about being true to yourself. Don't you see? That's why I'm here. I want to explore this. I want you." His gaze flickered back to hers, alive with fear and something deeper, a longing. But doubt still loomed large, clouding the hopeful ember beginning to spark between them. "Do you really believe I'm worth fighting for?" he asked, and for the first time his voice cracked. "Yes!" she exclaimed, a surge of emotion flooding her. The truth of her feelings rushed out like the current of a river breaking free from a dam. "You mean the world to me, and I'd rather fight this battle with you than live in the shadows of what's expected of me. We can make this work." For a moment, silence enveloped them. It was a silence filled with anticipation, with unspoken connections and fears. Then slowly he exhaled, as if letting go of the weight he had been carrying. "Okay," he said finally, his voice stronger this time. "I'll fight alongside you, but once we do, there's no turning back." Her heart soared. "Then let's take that leap together." As they shared a tentative smile, a warmth spread through the chilly air, igniting hope in their hearts. But just then, Sarah's phone buzzed in her pocket, and the moment shattered like glass. Glancing at the screen, her stomach twisted. It was a message from her father. "We need to talk. This is not over." The words felt suffocating, heavy with the weight of impending confrontation. Panic bubbled within her, tangling with the exhilaration of her decision to stand by Charlie. "Is everything okay?" Charlie asked, brow knitted with concern. "No," Sarah whispered, heart racing again. She could feel her resolve being tested already. The path ahead stretched before them, uncertain yet charged with an electric tension of possibilities. Could their fragile alliance withstand the storm that was coming? As shadows drew closer and her father's voice echoed in her mind,
She couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of something much larger. A battle for her heart, her future, and perhaps the truths they'd have to confront together. Would their choice to fight together be enough? Would she be ready to face the consequences? Charlie watched as Sarah's face shifted, the joy they had just shared receding like the tide. Her grip on his hand remained firm, but he could feel the tremor in her fingers, a signal of her uncertainty. "What's your dad saying?" he asked softly, praying he could anchor her in that overwhelming moment. "He wants to talk," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. The weight of those words hung heavily between them. It wasn't just a chat, it was a collision between duty and desire, between expectation and the uncharted territory of their newfound connection. As she looked away, tracing the mossy outline of a nearby tree with her gaze, Charlie knew the storm in her heart was about to clash with the storm brewing outside. He squeezed her hand. "You don't have to do this alone, you know?" She turned to him, eyes wide. "But what if he loses it? What if he tries to take everything away from me?" "Then we'll figure out how to keep what matters," he replied earnestly. "We'll find our way together, I promise." Her breaths came quicker, a mix of anxiety and determination swirling within her. "You're right. I can't keep hiding behind other people's expectations. I need to speak my truth." Charlie nodded, admiration filling him. He could see a fire sparkling within her. It was the same fire that had drawn him into her orbit. "And what is your truth, Sarah?" She paused, searching her heart. "My truth is that I want to live freely, to love who I choose, and to not be afraid of what anyone thinks. It's time I stop letting his opinions dictate my value." A proud smile broke across Charlie's face. "That's it. You are worth so much more than he thinks." A gust of wind rustled the leaves, sending chills down Sarah's spine. She glanced up toward the expanse of the sky, overcast and restless. "I guess it's time," she sighed, dread creeping in. "Want me to come with you?" Charlie offered, hope and apprehension battling for dominance. "No," she half laughed, shaking her head. "As tempting as that sounds, I have to do this on my own. This is my battle. But," she hesitated, biting her lip, "I want you to be there afterward."
"I want to tell you everything." Quiet understanding unfurled between them like the soft petals of a flower opening to the sun. "I'll be waiting for you," he said, and the sincerity in his voice gave her strength. With a final squeeze of her hand, Sarah turned toward the path that led to a confrontation she hadn't been prepared for just hours earlier. Every step felt heavier. Anxiety constricted around her heart, but the thought of Charlie waiting for her filled her with energy. Her phone buzzed again, but she ignored it, determined to focus on what was ahead. As she approached her father's car, parked beneath an old oak, her confidence wavered slightly, yet she steeled herself. This was her moment. The door swung open. Her father's expression was unreadable, disappointment shadowing his features. "Sarah, we need to talk," he said, his voice stern. "About you wanting to control my life?" she shot back, instantly regretting the venom in her tone, but committed to her ground. His eyes widened, surprise giving way to anger. "You think you know what's best, but you'll see." Each word was a gunshot in the quiet. Sarah's heart raced, but the resolve she found while holding Charlie's hand pulsed through her veins. "I know what's best for me," she shouted back, her voice ringing loudly in that moment. "And whether you accept it or not, I'm not going to be a puppet in your game anymore." For a moment, silence enveloped them. The world around faded. All that existed was the battle being fought. As she stood there, holding her breath, everything hung in the balance: her future, her relationship with her father, and her deepening bond with Charlie. Would she be able to maintain this truth against his cold approval?
Inside, a flame flickered, illuminating her path ahead, and just like that, she knew that this was only the beginning. How far would she go to protect what truly mattered, and what would be waiting for her when she returned to Charlie? As Sarah stood facing her father, the tension hung thick in the air, suffocating yet electric. She could see the shadows crossing his face, a mix of disappointment and anger flickering in his eyes. Her heart pounded in her chest, its rhythm syncing with the whispers of the wind around them. "Do you really think you can just defy all I've worked for?" His voice sharpened like a knife. "You are throwing away everything I've built for you. Everything you've built, or everything you've forced upon me?" Sarah's voice wavered, the sting of his words puncturing her resolve, but she held firm. "I don't owe you a life shaped by your ambitions. This is my life." Her father took a step forward, his brow furrowed in frustration. "You're throwing away your future? For what? A fleeting crush?" There was a hint of contempt in his tone that twisted something deep inside her. "That crush is just part of who I am," she retorted, exhaling sharp and steady. "And I refuse to give it up."
The sunlight flickered through the leaves, illuminating the heated exchange. It felt surreal, like they were characters in a play with the weight of the world resting on their shoulders. Sarah felt caught in the crossfire of past expectations and the life she craved, standing her ground with a courage she had only glimpsed before. "You don't understand," her father shouted forcefully. "This isn't just about love, it's about survival. You think I haven't prepared you for the harsh realities of this world? Yes, and in doing so, you've stifled my spirit." The words burst out of her, surprising even herself. It was a dam breaking, flooding the air with truths she had buried for too long. "All this pressure has only made me doubt myself. I feel like I'm drowning in your expectations." He shifted back, as if her words were physical blows that landed hard. Sarah took her opening. "I am not afraid of what you think of me. I am not going to live in your shadow anymore. I want to be free, to make my own choices and mistakes, and find my own happiness." The silence that fell after her declaration was heavy, filled with unspoken fears and dreams clashing. Sarah saw a flicker of something in her father's eyes. Conflict? Regret? But before she could dwell on it, he spoke again, his voice a brittle whisper. "You think you can just walk away from me, from this family? You'll lose everything." "Maybe, but I'd rather lose everything than lose myself," she replied, her heart trembling but resolute. The walls she had built around her were starting to crumble, revealing a vulnerability that had long been hidden. "All this pressure has only made me doubt myself. I feel like I'm drowning in your expectations." He shifted back, as if her words were physical blows that landed hard. Sarah took her opening. "I am not afraid of what you think of me. I am not going to live in your shadow anymore. I want to be free, to make my own choices and mistakes, and find my own happiness." The silence that fell after her declaration was heavy, filled with unspoken fears and dreams clashing. Sarah saw a flicker of something in her father's eyes. Conflict? Regret? But before she could dwell on it, he spoke again, his voice a brittle whisper. "You think you can just walk away from me, from this family? You'll lose everything." "Maybe, but I'd rather lose everything than lose myself," she replied, her heart trembling but resolute. The walls she had built around her were starting to crumble, revealing a vulnerability that had long been hidden. A moment passed, where the weight of their words lingered in the air like smoke from a fading fire. She wasn't just rebelling against him, she was redefining who she was. And it felt good, terrifying, yet exhilarating. "Fine," he relented, the fight draining from him.
If that's how you feel, then go ahead. But remember, you've always had a place here. Don't throw it away so easily." She blinked rapidly, emotions crashing within her. Was that truly a sign of acceptance, or merely resignation? Either way, she felt a surge of something she hadn't expected: hope. "I won't throw anything away," she said, more firmly now. "I'm fighting for what I want. If that means stepping away from you, then that's what I'll do." With those final words hanging heavy in the air, she turned to leave. A part of her ached for the father she wished she could connect with, but another part surged with newfound strength. She knew that she was finally stepping into her power, ready to confront the truth of her life and the love waiting for her. But as she walked back down the path, leaving the confrontation behind, a question loomed in her mind. Would she find acceptance in the arms of Charlie, or would this battle have consequences that would tear them apart? The moments ahead felt more uncertain than ever, but for the first time, Sarah felt undeniably alive.
The more she walked away, the lighter Sarah felt, as if shedding a heavy coat that had weighed her down for years. Each step away from that confrontation breathed life into her soul. But it wasn't long before questions clouded her newly found clarity. Could she really forsake the connections that had defined her existence for so long? The path to Charlie's house felt both inviting and daunting. She had played this scenario in her head 1,000 times, the two of them side by side, laughing and dreaming of a future where love overpowered all obstacles. Yet another bitter thought nagged at her. How would he react to her bold declaration of independence? Would he understand the war she was fighting and the choices that came with it? As Sarah approached Charlie's front porch, she felt her pulse quicken, uncertainty mingling with excitement. How she loved this place. Each creak of the boards beneath her feet felt like home. She raised her hand to knock, hesitated, then dropped it limply by her side. The door swung open, and there stood Charlie, his hazel eyes widening in surprise. The moment hung precariously between them, filled with what could have been unspoken words and the underlying warmth that always lingered. He stepped aside, welcoming her inside without a smile, his expression instinctively serious. "Sarah, what's wrong?" he asked, concern lacing his voice. "I just had a huge fight with my dad," she admitted, the words spilling from her lips before she could catch herself. "I think I've finally made a choice about my life, a real choice." He gestured for her to sit down, his brow furrowing as if trying to piece together the chaos swirling in her mind. The warmth of his living room wrapped around her, calming her racing thoughts, if only for a moment. "You mean," he prompted, his voice barely above a whisper. "I stood up to him," she replied, her heart racing at the very idea of reliving the past hours, yet thrilled to share it with him. "I told him I wouldn't live in his shadow anymore, that I want to be myself." "Wow, that's—" Charlie paused, searching for the right words. "That's incredible, Sarah. But what does that mean for us?" Her heart sank for a moment, the weight of his question heavy. "I don't know. I want us to be together, but I feel like I'm stepping into this unknown world, a place where I finally get to choose, you know? And I don't want to lose you in the process." A flicker of understanding passed through Charlie's eyes. "You're redefining your life, but you don't have to do that alone. I want to support you, but I also need to know, what are you willing to fight for?" His question lingered, ricocheting around her mind like a pinball. What was she really willing to fight for? Sarah thought about the last words she'd uttered to her father, the resolve she had shown. It sparked a fire within her. "I'm going to fight for myself," she said firmly, a courageous smile breaking through the storm inside her, "and also for us." Charlie's expression softened, yet doubt clouded his features. But if you're taking these steps, stepping away from your family, this life you've known, where does that leave us? Will you be happy, or is this a temporary escape? Those questions pressed against her heart like the insistent beat of a drum in a quiet room. Would she truly find happiness beyond her father's walls, or would the chains of expectation haunt her forever? In that moment, Sarah felt the walls of hope and fear closing in, threatening to crush her certainty. She could feel the stakes rising, a storm brewing just like the tumult she had left behind. As she looked deep into Charlie's searching gaze, she realized the battle was only beginning, not just with her father, but within herself. And she couldn't shake the feeling that the next choice would be the most significant one yet. "Maybe it's time to finally confront what I really want," she murmured, the weight of those words settling around them. But the question gnawing at her was clear. Would she find that answer in her journey, or would it elude her and change everything forever? As the silence deepened between them, Sarah felt the vulnerability hanging in the air like a heavy blanket. Charlie's expression shifted, caught between concern and an urgent desire to understand her better. She could sense his thoughts racing, the unspoken questions lingering, ready to spill over. "Sarah," he said gently, "what are you afraid of?" The question hung there, momentarily startling her. What was she truly afraid of? She had faced her father's wrath, but now faced something much scarier. The possibility of losing herself in the process of stepping out. "I don't know," she burst out, her voice trembling. "I'm terrified that if I change too much, I'll lose you, Charlie. I've spent my whole life trying to fit into what everyone expects me to be. What if I'm not enough without all that?" "You don't have to prove anything to anyone," he said, his voice steady as he leaned forward, urgency etched into every word. "If you're brave enough to fight for yourself, I'll be right by your side. But Sarah, what you really need to figure out is who that you is." Taking a deep breath, Sarah closed her eyes. The thought felt overwhelming. Who was she? Without her father's influence or the weight of expectations, who would she become? "I have so many dreams, Charlie," she finally whispered, opening her eyes to meet his gaze. "I want to travel. I want to help people. I want to create something meaningful, something that reflects me, not just my family's legacy. But I've been scared to even think about it. I just don't know how to start." Charlie watched her intently, his hazel eyes filled with encouragement. "You could start small. I mean, you already stood up to your dad. That's huge. What makes you happiest? What lights that fire in you?" The question ignited a spark in her, and a flood of memories filled her mind. The long nights spent dreaming up charity initiatives, the dusty road trips she had taken with friends, laughter echoing through the car. Hadn't those moments been the truest versions of herself? "I miss creating," she murmured, barely above a whisper. "I used to love painting, writing. It used to help me express everything I couldn't say out loud." "Well, what's stopping you now? Why not start painting again?" He leaned back, his gaze urging her forward, the weight of his optimism buoying her spirit. "But what if no one likes it?" she said, the fear creeping back in. "Who cares? This is about you. Let go of that fear. Make something that matters to you." A rush of warmth flooded her as she thought about it. The mere idea of it lit a fire within her, pushing back the edges of her uncertainty. "Okay," she said, the word bursting from her like a sigh of relief. "I'll do it. I want to try." A smile broke across Charlie's serious face. "That's my girl. Just remember, it's okay to stumble. Just keep moving forward." Feeling a swell of determination, Sarah felt a sense of clarity she hadn't embraced before. It was the beginning of her journey, not just to redefine herself, but also to reclaim the joy she once found in creativity.
Yet, as her heart raced with excitement, another wave of doubt crashed in. What if I uncover something darker? What if my own truth is too painful to face? Charlie's expression shifted, compassion wrapped in understanding. Then we'll face it together, whatever it is. You don't have to fight this battle alone. I'm in this with you. She nodded, determination battling with apprehension. Deep within her, a storm of emotions raged, a mix of gratitude for Charlie and fear of what lay ahead. As they sat together, a comfortable silence enveloped them, soon filled with the quiet hum of possibility. Yet that nagging voice at the back of her mind remained, wondering if she truly had the courage to face what was buried inside. In that moment, Sarah realized that it was time to embark on a new path. Would she find the strength to dive deep into her own heart, or would she shy away from the abyss of truth waiting to be uncovered? With the evening sun pouring through the window, the room glowed, highlighting the scattered paint tubes and brushes lying in the corner. Sarah sat on the floor, cross-legged, staring at an empty canvas that seemed to beckon her. A timid excitement bubbled in her chest. Today was the day she would start reclaiming her passion, her voice. "Okay," she murmured to herself, leaning forward with a tentative brush in hand. It felt foreign, almost weightless, as she dipped it into vibrant blue paint, the color of the sky and her favorite childhood memory. The brush hovered before the canvas, trembling slightly, reflecting the flutter in her heart. Taking a deep breath, she pressed the bristles down, and the soft resistance was exhilarating. The first stroke felt like a declaration. She was finally taking charge. With each movement, her confidence grew. Swirls of blues and greens began to form, twisting into shapes that felt right. Art guided her, freeing the fears and doubts that had held her captive for too long. She lost herself in the rhythm of creating. Time slipped away, and soon the room was filled with colorful bursts of emotion. A smile danced across Sarah's face as she captured the essence of her hopes and dreams. This was her truth, painted in broad strokes of vivid color. Then, as if the moment had sensed her joy, a shadow fell across the doorway. Charlie stood there, taking in the scene. "Wow," he breathed, his voice a mix of awe and surprise. "You're really doing it." Getting up, Sarah felt her cheeks heat under his gaze. I forgot how freeing it feels," she replied, glancing back at her chaotic explosion of colors. "It feels like I'm finally unwrapping layers of myself." He stepped inside, observing the piece more closely. "It's beautiful. You've captured something real. I can see how much this means to you." Her heart swelled at his words, the warmth of validation washing over her. "It's more than just paint. It feels like I'm finally beginning to express who I am, not who I've been told to be." Charlie's eyes sparkled with understanding. "And that's only the beginning. Just think of where this journey could lead you." At that, Sarah's smile faltered, the doubts creeping back in. "But what if my art brings up old feelings? What if I'm letting myself down again?" He took a step closer, gentle yet firm. "Every brushstroke is a step forward. You're digging into your own truth. If things get dark, remember, facing it means you're stronger than ever." The weight of his encouragement resonated with her, igniting a small flicker of resilience. "You're right," she said, taking a deep breath. "This is my path, my time to grow." As the landscape of her painting transformed, so did the landscape of her mind. She envisioned travel, charity work, and art shows, each dream igniting a part of her previously hidden. What if the darkest truths could pave the way for something beautiful? "Can I show you something?" Charlie asked, his tone shifting to something more serious. A sense of unease crept in, tightening her chest as she glimpsed the worry in his eyes. "Of course," she replied, masking her apprehension. He hesitated, glancing down as if choosing his words carefully. "I know we've been focusing on your journey, but I need to share something about my own. It's important, and I hope you'll understand." In that moment, Sarah's heart raced, a mix of worry and anticipation swirling inside her. What could he possibly reveal that might change things between them? She swallowed hard and nodded. "I'm here for it, whatever it is." As their eyes locked, the world outside faded, leaving room for a deeper connection that felt both thrilling and terrifying. The air hung heavy with unspoken truths, and Sarah wondered if this was the moment they would both redefine not just their individual paths, but their journey together. Could this revelation change everything? Would they be able to face their pasts side by side, or would the truths uncovered shatter the fragile connection they'd begun to build? Charlie took a deep breath, the weight of his secret pressing heavily on his shoulders. He looked up, his gaze steady but vulnerable. "Sarah, I haven't always been the person you see in front of you. I have my own past, one that haunts me, and I feel like I can trust you. You deserve to know the truth." Sarah's heart raced. What could he possibly mean? She had never seen anything but warmth and kindness in him. The uncertainty of his revelation sent a shiver through her, but she nodded, urging him to continue. "When I was a kid, I lived in a neighborhood where hope was hard to find. My family struggled, and my dad, he had his demons. We didn't have much, but my mom always found a way to make things bright. She painted, like you. Her art kept our spirits alive." His voice trembled slightly, but held a captivating strength. "But after she was gone, I lost that light. Everything crumbled around me." He paused, lost in a memory that seemed to swallow him whole. Sarah felt tears prick at her eyes. She understood loss, the kind that left a raw ache in your chest. "Charlie," she whispered, attempting to reach across the space between them, wanting to offer comfort. He shook his head, a smile forming. "No, let me finish. My mom always said the world would push me down, but it was my choice whether to stay there. I had to fight to get out, to find my voice again." "Finding your voice," she echoed, the connection between them growing stronger. "Did painting help you?" "Not just painting. It was acceptance, realizing I was more than my past. I turned to art when times got tough, much like you, and it saved me. But it was also the people I met along the way, like you, who helped me heal." She felt a warmth spread through her chest. His words wrapped around her like a comforting blanket, easing the knots of worry twisting within. If Charlie had found the strength to rise from adversity, could she do the same? He continued, "I want to be honest with you, not just about my past, but about what I really feel. I've been falling for you, Sarah, but I needed to share this part of me first, to show you that I know what it means to struggle. I admire your journey so much." Her breath hitched at his admission. You really love me?" The conviction in her voice surprised her. She didn't know how she felt yet, but hearing him say it sent a rush of unexpected joy through her. "Yeah," he replied, his eyes soft and genuine. "I get that we both have our battles, but I want to face them together." The air around them thickened with possibility, yet both sensed a shift, something fragile and yet bursting with potential. "What if we let past fears rule our future?" Sarah mused, her thoughts spiraling into the uncertainty of their shared journey. Charlie stepped closer, his gaze fierce yet reassuring. "Then we fight against that. We use our art and our truths to break down those walls, together." Her heart soared at the thought of a partnership built on honesty and vulnerability. She wanted to take his hand and leap into that uncertainty with him, but a darker thought tangled with her excitement. "What if we mess it up?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "We can't let fear hold us back anymore, Sarah. That's why we're here, to fight our battles together, to learn from each other." Her heart soared at the thought of a partnership built on honesty and vulnerability. She wanted to take his hand and leap into that uncertainty with him, but a darker thought tangled with her excitement. "What if we mess it up?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "We can't let fear hold us back anymore, Sarah. That's why we're here, to fight our battles together, to learn from each other." His words echoed in her mind, stirring something within her. Could they really do this? Could love and art bridge their shadows? As the golden light of evening cast a warm glow over their entwined futures, Sarah felt a flicker of hope. Together, they could face the demons of their pasts and transform their lives into something beautiful. But then, the phone buzzed loudly on the small table nearby, breaking the moment. Who would interrupt now? With her heart still racing from Charlie's revelation, she picked up the phone, a twinge of apprehension tightening around her chest. It was an unknown number, but before she could think, she accepted the call. "Hello?" Her voice trembled slightly, anticipation swimming in her veins. "Sarah Morris?" A voice scratched through the line, sending chills down her spine. "We need to talk about your mother." In that instant, Sarah's world tilted again, as shadows from the past loomed large. Could she truly escape her history, or was she about to face yet another storm? As the words fell over Sarah like a cold splash of water, the warmth between her and Charlie evaporated into the air, and she felt the weight of her past pressing down on her lungs. Every heartbeat echoed in her ears, resounding with fear and dread. "What about her?" she asked, her voice shaking but laced with determination. Charlie's brow furrowed in concern. He leaned in closer, still holding her hand as if willing her strength to flow through him. "We have information that may impact your family's legacy. You should come down to our office," the voice on the other end persisted, ignoring her agitation, the steely resolve drenching their tone. "Who is this?" Sarah snapped, a mix of anger and confusion bubbling to the surface. "What do you want with me?" But the line went dead. "What just happened?" Charlie asked, the tension etched across his features. "Was that about your mom?" She felt her hands tremble, the connection to him grounding her in the turbulent sea of her emotions. "It was. Something about my family, something I didn't even know was still haunting us." "Do you want to go?" he asked gently, brushing his thumb against her knuckles, easing the rising panic swirling inside her. "I don't know," she replied softly, wrestling with the storm of thoughts. Was she ready to confront yet another fragment of her past while trying to build a life anew? "Listen, you don't have to face this alone," Charlie said firmly, raising her chin so their gazes met. "This is your story, and we can choose the path together. If you decide to go, I'll be right there beside you." There was something reassuring about his presence. The thought of facing whatever this was without him felt insurmountable. "Okay," she whispered, feeling the weight of her decision settle around them like a cloak. "Let's figure out what this is." As the world around them rushed with anticipation, Charlie led Sarah outside. The air was cooler now, hinting at the onset of autumn, but together they stepped into the rusty orange glow of the setting sun. Navigating through the streets felt different this time. Where once she'd been trapped in her father's expectations, now, with Charlie by her side, it felt like an adventure, even against the edges of uncertainty. They arrived at the office,
a stark building with a reputation that whispered of authority. Sarah's stomach twisted, every step towards the entrance amplifying her doubts. "What if this reveals a truth I can't handle?" she breathed out, pausing just before the door. Charlie squeezed her shoulder gently, his warmth radiating through her. "You're stronger than you know. Whatever comes, we'll face it together as allies. Just take a breath." Taking in the confidence reflected in his gaze, Sarah steeled herself and pushed through the door. Inside, the atmosphere buzzed with hushed voices, calculating, cold. She felt every wall adorned with heavy expectations closing in, but this time she stood firm. Before long, a stern-looking woman approached, her expression unreadable. "Sarah Morris?" she asked curtly, the air thick with an ominous chill. "That's me," Sarah replied, her voice steady even as her heart raced. "Follow me," the woman said, leading them through a series of corridors, the sterile lights flickering. As they entered a private room, Sarah's determination wavered. Memories of her mother's absence danced uncomfortably in her mind. "What do you want?" she demanded, ready for any answer. The woman pulled out a file folder, setting it down with a slight thud, and peered at Sarah through steely eyes. "We have documents concerning your mother and your family's financial legacy." Charlie stood by her, and together they exchanged an anxious glance as they collectively stepped into a new reality. Sarah opened the folder, her breath caught in her throat. Inside, letters spoke of deals, hidden debts, and obstacles. This can't be right," she stuttered, frustration welling up. "Why didn't I know?" "The truth can often be obscured," the woman explained, her tone suggestive of weariness rather than cruelty. "It's time to deal with it, all of it, the impact it'll have on your future." In that moment, Sarah felt a dawning realization blossom within her. This wasn't merely a burden, it was a choice, a chance to reclaim her narrative and her identity, unshackled from the expectations that had weighed her down. "I'm ready to confront this," she said, each word laced with newfound resolve. "I won't run away." Charlie's pride radiated off him, illuminating the shadows that lingered in the corners of her mind. As the meeting unfolded, clarity began to surface, inching away from the chaos of uncertainty. They uncovered truths that redefined her family history, forged plans that promoted transparency, and discovered paths to stability. It felt like a key unlocking doors stitched tightly shut. "Everything your mother worked for still matters," the woman said, her voice softer now. "But you have the power to reshape it into something that truly belongs to you." Sarah glanced at Charlie, seeing the support mirrored in his reflection. They were no longer tethered to the ghosts of their pasts. Instead, they could mold their future, grounding themselves in love and resilience. Days turned into weeks, and Sarah learned to embrace both her art and the family legacy. Charlie's unwavering support turned into a creative partnership, sparking work that resonated far and wide. Together, they poured their hearts into projects that spoke truths. Everything they had once struggled with now rendered into beautiful forms. As she stood at her first art exhibition, vibrant canvases displayed alongside heartfelt stories, Sarah felt liberated, standing in front of everyone that mattered. "This was only possible because you stood with me," she told Charlie, her voice emotion-laden. "You taught me it was always worth fighting for what truly matters." His eyes sparkled with admiration. "Just like your art, it's a part of you. Once you stood up for yourself, the rest began to flourish." The gallery hummed with admiration from the crowd, and Sarah understood this was only the beginning. She had transformed the shadows of her past, painting her own colorful narrative filled with truth, resilience, and love, free yet anchored.
As they embraced, bound by the fabric of shared stories and dreams, Sarah knew the adventure of life stretched ahead, waiting for them to embrace it together. Fighting against the tides of expectation had forged a beautiful reality, and in that moment she realized wholeheartedly, everything was possible. Now's the time for you to take action. If you felt the emotions of this story transform your heart, you need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive tales. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm that helps grow our community. Your opinion matters, so comment below with your feelings about this impactful ending.
And don't wait, not even one more second, to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this life-changing transformation. Your support is what makes this all possible.